Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Amoyavi and I am one of your grade 12 advanced maths teachers. In our last lesson, we solved two calculus questions. And in this lesson, as calculus being an important subject or topic, and which most students find it difficult, so we are going to solve two more questions. But firstly, we look at, and again, a typical exam question on calculus. And the question is a multiple choice question, and it reads, the equation of the tangent to the curve y equals 2x cubed minus x squared plus 2 at the point minus 1 is A, this one, B, C, and D. All right, as you can see, we've got the equations that we have here are linear equations. And one thing we will realize, or the key term we will realize, is the word tangent. Right? A tangent is actually a straight line that passes through a point on a curve. And in this case, we have a cubic function, and so it will be a cubic curve. Okay, so what we are going to do is by using some logic, and it's a multiple choice question, we try to come up with the answer, and then we later will use the concept of calculus to prove that answer. So here, the point here is the point that the tangent will pass through as well as the curve will pass through. And so if you're going to substitute this point in this, it will satisfy this equation. Or if you are going to substitute into the equation of the tangent, it will satisfy that equation. So we have possible equations of the tangent. So let's say if you have to substitute into this function, it must satisfy this equation or the function. So the x coordinate being -1, y coordinate is a -1. So if you substitute -1 here, you have -1, and then 8 times -1 is -8. -8 take away 17, rather 7. Okay, we see that the equation is not balanced, so this is definitely out. Now let's look at the last one. We're going to do the same thing by substituting -1, -1 for y and -1 for x here. -1 will be equal to -1 times -8 here, gives us +8. +8 plus 7 is not equal to -1. It's going to be 15. So -1 is not equal to 15. So for this equation, this one does not satisfy this point here. Okay, we try this one. C, if you have to substitute -1 here, and -1 for the x here, -1 times -8 here will give us +8. +8 take away 7 is 1. And on this side, we have -1. This equation is not balanced, or it does not satisfy by this one. So this one is cancelled out. This one cancels. So the most correct answer that we have is this one. All right, so we have to apply the concept of calculus to answer this question. So the first thing that we need to do is to differentiate this function here, right? The cubic function is y equals 2x cubed minus x cubed, or rather x squared plus 2 is a function. And at this point here, the tangent will pass through. So first thing that we need to do is to find the derivative or the gradient function. And so we know we can apply the rule for differentiation. Bring the 3 in front, multiply by 2, you get 6x. Subtract 1 from this, we have 2. If you apply the derivative rule here, you bring the 2 in front, that will be 2x. 2 take away 1 is 1. So this is the gradient function. Now, at this point here, at -1, -1, the derivative of this function, or the gradient of this function at this point here, will be dy over dx equals, we substitute the y coordinate into this function. Rather x coordinates, sorry, so the x coordinate here is -1, so 6 multiplied by -1 squared minus 2 multiplied by -1. Therefore, we get, this will be +1 times 6 is 6, plus -2 times -1 is 2 there. So we have the gradient 8. This 8 is the gradient of this function at this point, and that is, this gradient is also the gradient of a straight line that passes through this point. Right? So we can write this as the gradient of the tangent, which is equal to m. Right, so the next thing that you need to do is to, since we have established that this gradient is the gradient of this curve at this point, or it is the gradient of this tangent, we use the point gradient formula, and it is given by y minus y1 equals gradient multiplied by x minus x1. Right, so where we have x1 and y1, we will basically substitute this one, and the gradient m is this gradient that we are going to substitute. So y minus -1 is equal to the gradient 8. The gradient of the tangent is 8 multiplied by x, take away the x coordinate is -1. So y plus 1 equals negative gives us positive. 8 times negative gives us positive as well. If you have to expand this one, it will give us y plus 1 equals 8x. 8 times 1 is 8. If you bring 1 over, positive 1 over, it becomes minus, so it's like subtracting 1 on both sides. And so you will end up with 8x plus 7. And so this is the equation of the straight line or the tangent that passes through this point on this curve here. Right, so the equation of the tangent is this. Now, so what we have basically learned is how to find the equation of the tangent given the curve and a point. So our answer here, our original guess was correct, which is the correct answer. Thank you, everyone. In our next part, we are going to look at solving a short answer question. But firstly, we have to get rid of what's on the board. Thank you. Hello and welcome back. We're now going to look at a short answer question on calculus. Right, as you can see, I've got another typical exam question on calculus. And the question reads, evaluate, when you see this symbol here, in any mathematical expression, it is the integral symbol, and you are required to integrate the function that comes under this symbol. All right, so if you rewrite this one, it will become 3 integral of sine x plus integral of x cubed. Right, so now, according to what we have learned, the rule for integration for trig functions, if you are to integrate sine x, it will give you negative cos x. So negative cos x times 3 here, it will give us negative 3 cos x. Now we are done with the first part. Second part, if you are to integrate x raised to the power of 3, this is a polynomial function or the algebraic expression. So according to the rule, it's adding up 1 to the power or the exponent and dividing the whole expression by the new power or the new exponent. So it will be x raised to the power of 3 plus 1 divided by 3 plus 1. And at the end, don't forget, if you are writing a indefinite integral or antiderivative of a function, we always add a constant of integration, which is c. So our answer now, our final answer will be minus 3 cos x plus 3 plus 1 is 4, so x raised to the power of 4 divided by 3 plus 1 again is 4, plus the constant of integration. So this is the answer to this question. It is an indefinite integral. So the indefinite integral of this function 3 sine x plus x cubed is minus 3 cos x plus x raised to the power of 4 divided by 4 plus the constant of integration. Right, so this brings us to the end of the lesson. And in our next lesson, we are going to consider 2 more questions on Uh, calculus is an important subject. Thank you, everyone.